so much money I didn't know what to do with it.
22 billion in 3 hours!
Uh-oh, Leo. Leonardo Dicaprio playing a hedonistic rich capitalist in his new movie, The Wolf of Wall Street. And something he said about rich capitalists while out promoting his flick caught our gang's attention. Take a look.
I feel like it's an accurate reflection of everything that's wrong with the world we live in today. I mean, the attitude of this character, Jordan Belfort, is directly attributed to the destruction of our economy. You can attribute this attitude, this darker side of human nature, to everything that has gone wrong in society, really.
Steve, you say that smacks of Hollywood hypocrisy. How so?
It's like a cat house madam preaching virtue. I mean, in Hollywood, the big news is when somebody isn't having a hedonistic lifestyle, like the late Jimmy Stewart. And so for them to going out and denouncing sin, well, as they say, that's rich.
Well, Rick, you were out in Hollywood. You were in Sin City for quite a while. What do you think of Dicaprio?
Do I strike you as the hedonistic sort of a person? Look,
you're a hedonistic wannabe, Rick.
Look, I mean, I have to be honest with you. You know, this might disappoint you, but people in Hollywood are a little bit more normal than you would expect. I have friends on Wall Street that my Hollywood friends couldn't even keep up with when it comes to hedonism. You take people as they come. I don't know Dicaprio. I don't know how he lives his life. I'm not going to judge him. But, don't just pin this on Hollywood because they're an easy target.
But, Rich, the point is that what Dicaprio is saying, all the bad things in the world, particularly all the bad things that have happened to this country economically, are because of capitalism. And they're painting this guy as a representative of our capitalist system.
I don't think he said that exactly. I think he was pointing out to the embodiment of a certain kind of a person who cheats the rules and so forth. Look, I find myself in an odd position of being with Rick Unger on this one. I don't think there's any more hypocrisy in Hollywood than there is in professional sports, where athletes lie about their use of performance-enhancing drugs, or about this presidential administration, where they lie about their health care initiative. I think human foibles sort of are spread evenly across professions.
All right, but Emac, when you think of what happened to this country over the past 5 or 6 years, the economy slowing down, you got big business. Granted, you had some real shysters in big business, but you also had big government. And when we did actually it was a Gallup poll, surveyed Americans, Americans by a 72% majority think that big government is a bigger threat to America than big business.
Yeah, and let's not forget the government debauchery with the General Services Administration scandal. The multiplier effect of government recklessness and government debauchery goes on. Prostitution scandals with Congress, the use of military planes to go home by the part of Congress or on personal trips, trips to Barcelona or Vienna for worker training by the government. I'll tell you something, Leonardo DiCaprio is talking about hedonism at all levels of society. I think what he's saying is that there's a shame, there is no shame anymore.
Well, that may be so, but Bill, whose side are you on? The DiCaprio side, or that 72% of Americans who are more worried about big government than they are about big business?
Well, let me start out by saying I don't really consider Leonardo DiCaprio to be an expert on economic matters, okay? And it just so happens our economy, for good or ill, is built around consumerism. Now, in terms of being self-indulgent hypocrites, there's no question that Hollywood is pretty bad, but is not as bad as politicians or media types.
Well, John Tandy, where do you stand on this? Is DiCaprio right or wrong?
Well, he has a point, but I'm a libertarian, and my view is that people should live as they want so long as they don't make others pay for their lifestyles. And to me, far more corrosive to society than a man living well is when people live off of others, and that includes corporate welfare, it includes bailouts, it includes crony capitalism like Solyndra, and people as individuals taking handouts from government. That is much, much worse than someone living well and taking big fancy trips and things like that.
Steve, I kind of like the idea, what Emac and Rich are getting at, that is that, there are terrible ills with big government. We've seen that with Obamacare, et cetera. But that doesn't exclude the private sector entirely, does it, from all those ills?
No, David. And if you just look at the Bible at this time of year, I mean, you see human nature in all its glory and inglory going back thousands of years. And then the thing is, in terms of big government, when big government goes off the rails, like debauching the dollar, crony capitalism, regulations that no one can understand, bureaucrats who can do whatever they want,
that undermines social trust as well.
I don't think we're going to see Solyndra the movie or Solyndra the documentary anytime soon.
That's a good point, Rick. I think people are kind of agreeing with you in terms of how there's a lot of blame to go around. But why is there so much blame on business when most Americans think there should be more blame on big government?
Well, first of all, have I ever mentioned how intelligent that Rich Cargard is?
Only when he agrees with you.
When he agrees with me,
Only when he agrees with you.
Look, I don't think that's what Dicaprio was saying. I don't think he was indicting capitalism. He was indicting excess.
But do you think? Okay, Rick, hold on a second, Rick. Do you think we would ever see Dicaprio star in a movie about Solyndra or some other government boondoggle?
Well, I can't imagine that that's as somebody who made movies. I can promise you, there's not enough interest in Solyndra to create a movie. Really, you want to lay out the script on that one?
Don't you think there is enough interest right now in the way government? I think there is.
Yeah, certainly. And you have the footage there with the IRS pretending they're Star Trek characters.
If you guys will invest in it,
that's got to be the last word. Sorry about that. Well, from Barbara Walters to the Washington Post, what the mainstream media is doing that could be